What if I told you the biggest difference between you and a billionaire? It isn't money, isn't luck. It's not even an opportunity. It's something invisible, something they guard more aggressively than their wealth. And the moment you understand it, you stop playing small forever. Let's explore the mental edge that billionaires often protect, but you may not be aware of. And guess what it is? It's not motivation. It's not intelligence. The mental edge billionaires protect is uninterrupted clarity. The ability to think without noise, decide without hesitation, execute without doubt. And they defend it as everything depends on it, because it does. Let's break this down into 3 moves you can start using immediately. Number 1 is that they eliminate low-value input. Most people are addicted to information. But billionaires, they are ruthless editors. They don't ask, what should I consume? They ask, what must I eliminate? Because every unnecessary input is a tax on your thinking. If it doesn't build you, teach you, or move you forward, it's gone. Number 2, they create decision space. Average minds make rushed decisions. Elite minds create space before decisions. Why? Because reaction is expensive, and clarity requires silence. They pause, they think, they zoom out. That space, that's where power lives. Number 3, they protect their focus like an asset. You lock your money in a bank, you insure your house. But your focus, most people give it away for free. Notifications, interruptions, endless distractions. But high performers treat focus like currency. Because where your attention goes, your life follows. The truth, nobody tells you. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Most people don't fail because they lack capability. They fail because their minds are unprotected, leaking energy, distracted, reactive, pulled in 1,000 directions. Meanwhile, at the highest level, there's a different game being played. A silent advantage, a mental edge. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The truth most people miss. Because here's the truth most people miss. The world rewards execution. But execution is not the starting point. It begins deeper. Execution comes from decisions. Decisions come from clarity. And clarity comes from control. Control over your attention. Control over your input. Control over your state. Miss that, and everything above it breaks. You can work hard and still move in the wrong direction. You can stay busy and still get nowhere. Why? Because effort without clarity creates friction. You hesitate. You second guess. You start, then stop, again and again. But when clarity is present, things change. Decisions get faster, actions get cleaner, progress gets visible, no wasted motion, no mental fog, just movement. This is what separates levels, not talent, not background, not luck, precision. Knowing what to do and doing it without delay. That only happens when your mind is clear. And clarity is not something you find. It's something you protect. Daily, relentlessly. Because the world will try to take it. With noise, with urgency, with endless distractions. Everything feels important. Everything feels urgent. But most of it isn't. And if you don't filter it, it floods your thinking. That's when mistakes happen. That's when you drift. That's when you lose direction. But when you protect your clarity, you see differently. You spot what matters faster. You ignore what doesn't work. You stay aligned. Even when things get chaotic. That's power. Not loud, not flashy, quiet, controlled, effective. So understand this at a deeper level. If you control your clarity, you control your decisions. If you control your decisions, you control your actions. If you control your actions, you control your results. And once you control your results, you control your life. That's the chain. Simple, direct, unbreakable. Break it at the top and nothing works. Build it from the bottom and everything improves. So stop chasing more effort. Start protecting your thinking. Because the highest level advantage is not doing more. It's seeing clearly. And once you see clearly, you move differently. Faster, smarter, stronger. And that's when everything begins to change. Let me challenge you right now. When was the last time you sat in silence? Real silence. No screen, no scrolling, no background noise, just you and your thoughts. No escape, no distraction, just awareness. For most people, that moment feels heavy, uncomfortable, restless, almost unbearable. Why? Because the mind has been trained to run. Constant input, constant stimulation, constant escape. So when it stops, it panics. It looks for something to grab, something to fill the gap. But there is nothing there, and that's the point. Because in that empty space, you finally see clearly. No influence, no pressure, no noise, just truth. Your real thoughts, your real priorities, your real direction. And that can be confronting, because clarity removes excuses. It shows you what matters and what doesn't. It shows you where you're wasting time, where you're playing small, where you're avoiding action. That's why most people avoid silence, not because it's empty, but because it's honest. Now understand this. The people at the top don't run from that feeling. They train for it. They sit in it. They think inside it. They make decisions from it. While everyone else is distracted, they're getting sharper. While everyone else is reacting, they're getting clearer. That's the separation. And it's happening quietly. No one sees it. No one talks about it. But it changes everything. Because once you get comfortable in silence, you stop needing constant input. You stop chasing validation. You stop reacting to every little thing. You gain control, real control, the kind that doesn't shake under pressure, the kind that doesn't depend on mood, the kind that stays steady. That's where confidence comes from. Not hype, not motivation, clarity, knowing what matters, knowing what to ignore, knowing what to do next, and moving on to it fast, without noise, without doubt. So ask yourself again, can you sit with your own mind without reaching for something? Because if you can, you're building something rare, and if you can't, now you know exactly where to start. Billionaires don't just build businesses, they build mental environments. They design how they think. They control what enters their mind. They decide what stays and what gets cut. This is not accidental. It's engineered. Because they know something most people ignore, your mind is not built to filter everything. It absorbs, it reacts, it adapts. So if you don't take control, something else will. News feeds, algorithms, other people's opinions, random noise, all of it competes for space inside your head. And space is limited. That's why they don't rely on willpower. They rely on structure. They remove friction. They reduce exposure. They simplify inputs, less noise, more signal. Think about it like this. If your mind were a workspace, most people are working in chaos. Constant interruptions, no system, no clarity. But billionaires, clean desk, clear priorities, zero clutter. Everything has a purpose. Every input is intentional. They don't casually scroll. They don't casually listen. They don't casually engage. Because casual thinking creates expensive mistakes. And at high levels, mistakes cost time, energy, and leverage. So they ask better questions. Is this useful? Is this necessary? Is this moving me forward? If the answer is no, it's gone. Fast. No overthinking. No hesitation. Cut. This is discipline at a different level. Not forced, not exhausting, just clear. They also understand timing, when to think, when to act, when to step back. Most people mix everything together. They think while distracted. They decide while emotional. They act without clarity. That creates confusion. But high-level thinkers separate these states. Thinking time is protected. Decision time is focused. Action time is sharp. No overlap, no interference. This creates precision. And precision creates speed. Here's another layer. They don't let emotions drive the environment. They design the environment to manage emotions. Big difference. If something creates stress, they adjust it. If something drains energy, they remove it. If something distracts focus, they block it. They don't fight chaos. They eliminate the source. That's power. Because control doesn't come from reacting better. It comes from needing to react less. They also protect their mornings and evenings. Why? Because those are entry points. The first input of the day shapes your thinking. The last input of the day shapes your mindset. So they guard those windows. No random scrolling, No mental junk. They choose what enters every time. And over time, these compounds, sharper thinking, better decisions, faster execution, while others are stuck in loops, overthinking, second guessing, starting and stopping, same effort, different results. Because the difference is not effort, it's clarity. And clarity is not luck. It's built, piece by piece, choice by choice, input by input. So the real question is not, am I working hard enough? It's, am I thinking clearly enough? Because if your thinking is off, everything that follows will be off too. That's why this matters. This is not about being extreme. It's about being intentional. You don't need to control everything, but you must control what controls you. And that starts with your mental environment. What you see, what you hear, what you focus on every day. Because at the highest level, success is not random. It's protected. Here's where it gets intense. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your mental standard. And most people's standard is chaos. They wake up and immediately react. Scroll, compare, consume. By the time they start their day, their minds aren't theirs anymore. They don't start their day reacting. They start it directing. So starting today, do this. Cut one distraction. Create 10 minutes of silence. Protect one block of deep focus. That's it. Not complicated, but powerful. Because you're not just changing habits, you're building your edge. And once you feel it, that sharpness, that control, that clarity, you won't go back. Because now you understand something most people never will. The real game isn't out there. It's in here. And the ones who win, they protect it at all costs. If you're ready to think differently, you're already ahead. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, my friends, for such powerful videos.